Hi folks, Sty again. Well, time for another Sty story. This one, I think you'll get a kick out of. You know, you hear about things other people do or did. You can sit back and laugh at it. It's a lot easier than having to laugh at yourself, you know. Which I do quite often. I laugh at myself all the time. Especially first thing in the morning. I get up, I go to the restroom like usual. Minute I look in the mirror, start my day off laughing. Oh, it's him again. Here we go. Excuse me. Like always, I better have a sip of coffee to get this video off and running. Oh, yes. The only thing better than that cup of coffee is that cup of coffee outdoors, right? Okay. This Sty story, it's called Linda's Tipi. Now, I've always liked this story, and I've always liked telling this story because in my mind, which is not much of a mind, but what mind I do have, it's a good bushcraft story. And how early you can start out in bushcrafting. Now we're going to turn the clock way back. Now, this was 1964. The summer of 1964. I was just a little guy. Loved the outdoors. Loved to chat with the old folks that lived the outdoors. The old guys that had been there, had done it. Yeah. I'd sit and listen to them all the time. Especially my granddad. He had some stories, boy. I sure wish we had this technology back then, because boy, that's a boy that needed to sit in front of a camera and do some stories. Well, he put things in my mind all the time. And he was telling me how when he was just a boy, that his father, my great-grandfather, would tell him about some of the Plains Indians. Both of them lived with and near the woodland tribes, the Ojibways of the Lake Mille Lacs area, for many, many years. So they knew the Ojibways very well. But my great-grandfather, in his travels, came in contact with several bands of Plains natives, Sioux, from the Sioux tribes, the Lakota, and he would talk about teepees all the time. So my grandpa, he used to tell me how he stayed in the first teepee he ever stayed in, and how he really loved it. He thought the teepee was just the neatest tent-type shelter you could possibly ever stay in. And I'd hear his stories, and I'd dream of having a teepee. I wanted a teepee so bad. Here I am, 7 years old, 6, 7 years old, and all I wanted was a teepee. Well, I couldn't find a tarp. I couldn't find anything that I could use to cover a framework to make a teepee. I just couldn't find the right materials. I had all the sticks I needed. I knew that. Our property was a nice sized piece of property. It was in town, but it was a nice sized piece of property with over 2 acres of woods on it. I find all the sticks I need to build what I need to put up a teepee. I just needed something to cover it with. Well, this is where Linda comes in. Now, my sister, my oldest sister, Linda, God bless her soul, she passed several years ago. We all miss her dearly. But her and I were probably as close to being opposites as you could get. But we loved each other to death. There was a good 10-year span between us. So she was 16, 17 years old at this time. Now, Linda was a bigger girl. She was no petite thing. No, no, no. She wasn't some tiny little skinny anorexic thing. She was a big girl. Bigger than average. Taller than average. In fact, her and I ended up being the two tallest people in our family. I think she topped out at 6 feet. 5'11", 6 feet at least. Most of our family were shorties. I mean, the two of us stood out in the crowd. But being 10 years apart, I was just a little 6, 7-year-old. And I was a scrawny one at that time. I was pretty much so light as a feather. I didn't stay that way for long, though. Well, old Sty started dreaming. And that's what bushcrafting is all about. Necessity, the mother of all invention. I needed to cover my teepee. I had the frame. I built my frame. I was ready to go. I even built a little fire pit out front so that once my teepee was built, I could start a little stick fire out front of my teepee in the backyard. Then all of a sudden the light came on. And the reason the light came on, it came on one night as my sister was leaving, my sister Linda was leaving with a couple of friends of hers to go to the movie or something like that. And I noticed that she was wearing this blue dress. All right? Now this dress came down below her knees. And it was a button up front. It buttoned all the way from the neckline all the way down to below her knees. It buttoned up. It was all buttoned up. And it had these big, it had this really big collar on it. And it was a white collar, blue dress. Big collar. And I seen her walk through the room and I'm going, there goes my teepee. That, you know, it's a pleated kind of dress that poofed right out, you know, and got narrowed at the shoulders. And that's my teepee. Well, a couple days later, for some reason I wasn't in school. But she was. She was in high school at the time. Well, during the day, I thought, well, there's nobody here to disturb what I'm up to. So I went to her room and started rummaging. I know my teepee's in here somewhere. Well, sure enough, I found my teepee hanging in the closet, just screaming out to Sty. Here I am, Sty. Put me up. So I snatched that teepee up and I took it out in the backyard, unbuttoned the front of that teepee and laid it around those poles, buttoned up the top third of it, I would say. Then I realized that big collar. Oh my Lord. I had run to the woods, cut myself a couple of long saplings, and I lashed the ends of those saplings to the points of the collar. Stood that collar up with those points in the air. Crossed those two sticks. I've got the perfect smoke flap for my teepee. What I did was I took the... See, it worked perfect because it was not long sleeve, but it came almost to the elbow, the sleeves. So I just tucked the sleeves back inside. And the front of this dress is unbuttoned. But if you wanted, when you got in the teepee, you could button up the front, close the thing right up. And you know that teepee was big enough for me to get inside. I could lay down kind of curled up in it. I could sit upright in it. Like I said, I was 6, 7 years old. She was 17, 10 years my elder. Darn near twice as tall as I am. I had the best blue teepee you had ever seen. Can't beat it. Ran my tail to the house. So proud of my teepee. I had even gone so far as I was allowed to carry a pocket knife with me. I whittled some tent stakes. I even tied the bottom hem of that teepee to my tent stakes so it was stretched out nice and firm all the way around the stakes holding it, or the poles holding it up. So I run to the house quick, run in the kitchen, grab me a big old box of what we used to call farmers' matches, big stick matches, ran my tail back out to my teepee. Then I took off to the woods, come back with a bunch of small kindling size wood. Got myself a little fire lay set up, struck a match and had a fire going just like that. My pop, he taught us to start campfires as soon as we were old enough to say yes, sir. So here I am, sitting in my new teepee with a little campfire out front, thinking, you can't get it any better than this. This is the best thing in the world. You can't rough it any more than this. This is awesome. And then I heard this gosh awful screeching to me it sounded like an eagle got his tail feathers caught in a lawnmower. So I looked out the door of my teepee, and here comes my sister flying across the yard. And then I realized what she was screeching. It had something, it was something like, I'm going to kill you, or it was something of that nature, you know. It wasn't nice. Wasn't nice. Well, all that ruckus got the attention of my mother, who comes out the back door of the house, sees my new teepee and the fire in the backyard. And my sister ready to kill me. She was going to hang my hair from my lodgepole. I guarantee it. And just about then, now, my father was the local chief of police. And just about the time my mother was going to let my sister go ahead and scalp me, he pulls in with the squad car. And he could hear all the yelling and screaming, but he couldn't see around the corner of the house to see what they were yelling and screaming about. He hit the siren, boo, just to get everybody's attention. He gets out of the squad, comes right around the corner of the house. Everybody shut right up once they heard the siren. And they're staring, waiting for him to come around the corner of the house. He come around the corner of the house, and he sees me sitting in the doorway of my teepee with my little fire going, and those two women ready to skin me alive. They're going to stake me out, rub me down with honey, and let the ants eat me alive. I never seen that man with such a straight, serious face in my life. He turns right around on his heels, goes back to his squad car, gets in it, and leaves. I think it's so he wouldn't witness the crime. And it was about 15 minutes later, and I'm still sitting out there getting a good chewing and being told how I've ruined this dress. I said, I didn't ruin a dress. I made an awesome teepee. There's no dress about it. It's an awesome teepee. You know, it doesn't need to be used as a dress until I'm done using it as a teepee. When I'm done using it as a teepee, she can have it back and she can go out again with her friends. I don't care. As long as I get the teepee back when she comes home. Well, they just didn't see it that way. Well, so it was about 15 minutes and my pop come back. He comes back around the corner of the house, and right away my mother has to shut my sister up because she's going, Dad, what are you going to do about this? And blah, 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 blah. And my mother goes, stop. Let your father deal with this. My dad walked up to me and he goes, what did I tell you about using matches without supervision? He says, you get those matches back in the house where they belong, and don't you ever touch them again unless you're given permission. Boy, I snatched up that box of matches, took off for the house, put them in the house. I come back outside. My sister passed me, going in the house, carrying my teepee. And I told my dad, I said, that's not fair, she just took my teepee. My dad said, come with me. We went to the garage, and he found an old chunk of painter's tarp. And he says, you can have that old tarp there and use that to cover your teepee. And he told me, he says, now let this be a lesson. If it's Linda's teepee, you need to stay out of it. Yeah, I think he was right. But I'm telling you, the painter's tarp worked, but there's no way it was as nice as that blue teepee with the big white smoke flaps. I'll tell you what, they quit making those teepees for gals to wear back in the 60s. You just don't see them no more. So I think of all little boys nowadays that just can't go to their sister's bedroom and snatch up a teepee. So there you go. Like I said, God bless my sister Linda. She forgave me, but never forgot. Because if I brought it up, oh, that look was in her eyes. I'll skin you alive. You ever touch one of my dresses again. So there you go. There's a style story for you. Thanks for watching, folks. Catch you in the next one. Hey, you all have a very nice day. Bye-bye.